Yeah, so think about that. This could go on and on and on until the whole world learns about Jesus Christ. Hey everybody, it's fan time with Chuck and Deb, and today we're going to cover the who and the when in the 411. So we've talked about the why, we've used the Great Commission, and just walked through what Christ commands us to do as disciples and disciple makers. And we've talked about the what. What do I share? My story and God's story, very simply, in about 1 minute. Now Deb is going to walk us through the who. Now that we know what to share, who do we share with? So, hun, walk us through the who.
Okay. So in this third page, we're going to draw what we call a relational map. So the first thing we're going to do is put a circle in the middle of the page, like this. And you're going to put your name in the middle of it. And then you're going to draw 5 lines out from that circle. And once you've drawn the 5 lines, we're going to connect that with more circles. So it should look something like this. And what we're going to do is in each of these empty bubbles, I want you to think of somebody that you know that needs to hear the gospel or the good news that we talked about. In the what?
Somebody that's far from God.
Yeah. And it could be somebody in your family, somebody who's a friend, and maybe a neighbor, somebody that you work with. So just fill those bubbles in with the names of people that you know that need to hear the gospel. Once you've filled in the names, what I want you to do is put another line out from each one of these bubbles. And I want you to think of somebody that they know. Maybe it's a spouse or a friend or a sibling or something. Somebody they know that if they came to Christ after hearing the good news, they could share the good news with them. So go ahead and fill in. If you don't know, just leave the bubble empty. And if you don't know the name, you can just put the wife or son or daughter or
the gal at the grocery store or the guy at the gas station.
Okay. So in mine, I have 2 empty bubbles. I don't know who these people might know because I don't know them real well. Others I do know. So the ones that you know of that have people that they're related to, go ahead and draw another line in an empty bubble and just leave that bubble empty.
Now remember, you're adding to this. This is just the start. You want to keep identifying people that are far from God and add them to your relational network map.
And in this case, I know 2 people that this person's related with, so I just put 2. But the idea here is that, these 5 immediate bubbles that you have around are people that you are going to be praying for and sharing with. And then the intent is, if and when they come to the point where they surrender their lives, we would train them to share with their family and friends in their network.
Yeah, so think about that. This could go on and on and on until the whole world learns about Jesus Christ. So a great passage that illustrates this process of the gospel leapfrogging from one person to another is John 17:20, where Jesus is praying and he says, I don't only pray for these, but for those who will believe in me through their word. So you can see how this good news goes from one person to the next. If we tried to do all the work, it's going to take us forever. So we got to train others to share the good news. The next part is the when.
Okay, and the when, if you just put 3 words, pray, share, and train. So we've talked about why, our motivation. We talked about what do we share. We talked about who do we share with. And now we're going to talk about when. When do we share? Okay, so the first one, pray. The question here is, when are you going to pray for the people that are on the map that you just drew? When are you going to pray for these people?
And write that answer down.
Yeah, go ahead and write down your answer. It could be every day, it could be every other day, it could be once a week. Okay, the next question is share. When are you going to share your 111, your story with the gospel in it, with somebody on your map? And the last one is train. And the question here is, when do you want to get together to learn the commandments of Jesus? So another great thing about the 411 as a tool is that you can use it with someone whether they've been a believer for 5 minutes or if they've been a believer for 5 years.
And so now you're equipped. You have this great tool in your toolbox that you can not only learn how to share the gospel, but train others to share the gospel. And we'd love to challenge you to do that. All right, if this has been helpful, pass it on to your friends on your social media. Subscribe right here in the corner. And until next time, keep making disciples until there's no place left. Hey, they painted a new line.
The Minot line. You cannot pass. You cannot collect $200.
No passing.
No bueno.